What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Kildonan Park. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gents, one of the big challenges when it comes to urban fishing is finding a good spot, especially a spot that has some parking. Now, I've gone to a couple of parks on the Red River where you either don't have any parking or you're only allowed to park for 1 hour, and it even gets worse once you get closer to the city centre. If you take a place like the Forks, there's no way you're going to park there without paying, and simply for that reason, I love Kildonan Park. Now, of course, this park does have more than just parking, but we want to know what the fishing's like out there. Now, behind me, this is Lord Selkirk Creek. We're not going to be fishing the creek. We're going to go down to the Red River, see what the fishing's like. So let's get down to a fishing spot. All right, and this is the little fishing spot we're going to start off at. It's where the little creek runs in. Now, I'm thinking that, seeing some bubbles there, I'm thinking that this is a place where fish will be used to getting some food washing down the creek, so maybe there'll be some fish around here. But I also want to try and move around. This is the first time fishing in this area. I don't know where the good fishing spots are, so I want to move around as well. Maybe go and try near the bridge. Good place to have fish hiding, especially as the sun gets higher and it gets a bit warmer. We'll maybe move that way. But for now, I'm just going to get some baits out into the water, see if we get on any fish. And we got ourselves a little goldeye. Now, it didn't look like he was hooked very bad, but he is bleeding, so I don't think he's going to make it. So rather than releasing him, we're going to keep him, maybe use him as some bait. Our first little fish landed. Okay, so it's always worth checking when it comes to the little goldeye versus mooneye. A lot of times people actually catch one and think it's the other, but it's quite simple. When this fin here at the back starts behind the anal fin, you take a line like that. If that fin is behind the line, then it is a goldeye. If that dorsal fin is in front of the anal fin, then it's a mooneye. Now, a lot of times people think you can look at the eyes, but the eyes do tend to go either yellow or bluish for the mooneye, but it's not always the case. So always look at that little back fin to identify them. So this one we have here is clearly a little goldeye. Okay, so I'm keeping our little goldeye in the water there. We'll see whether he makes it or not. If he turns upright and starts swimming around in the net, I might even release him. Otherwise, we'll just keep him, use him as bait. Now, in this particular spot, I think there's quite a lot of small fish in the area. I've been getting quite a lot of constant takes, but nothing big enough to grab the hooks. So it's small fish stealing the little baits that I have out there. And I've learned that there's something like an old dock structure or something that used to be around here, because I can see all of the lugs sticking out of the water. So I think there was at some point a little dock or something here. Alright, so I didn't think our little goldeye friend there, he was hooked that bad. There was some bleeding, but he wasn't hooked that deep. So that's why it's strange to me that he's this weak, but he's been swimming around in the net for a while. He looks to be stronger, so I'm just going to lower the net and we see if he swims off by himself. And there he goes. Alright, so that's why I wanted to keep him in the little net. I wanted to see whether he's strong enough to swim off by himself. You don't want to put a fish in the water that's just going to wash up somewhere else, but if they swim off like that, they're all good. So I think going to pack up the setup we have out there, maybe head to the bridge, see if we get something different. Alright, we have something right next to the little bridge. It's a tiny little catfish. Right where you'd expect them to be, in the shade next to the bridge. So another little fish landed, tiny little channel catfish. Get him back to the water. It's a bit muddy, so I'm just going to give him a bit of a drop. And he's off. But a tiny fish like that, they're okay to toss back into the water. But don't be doing that with bigger fish. Alright, well that was at the backside of a little bridge here. I think I maybe want to find a different spot, see if we can get out into deeper water. We popped off a little channel catfish. No idea what that was. Well, that was something big, but it got wrapped around something out there. Again, tiny another channel catfish. Just gonna drop him. Off he goes. Looks like it doesn't matter whether you're in the cover or out in deep, you'll find a tiny catfish. Every once in a while something different will swim by, and that's what we're hoping for. Alright, I was reeling in just to check on the baits, and we seem to have a fish on. It's going to be a lovely little red horse. I just quickly want to have a look at this fish, because there are different types of red horse, and this one looks a bit different. Still have the lovely blue-green colors on the scales and the red on the tail, but it does have A different looking head, different looking mouth. So I'll have to research to see if this is a normal red horse, or whether it's a different type of red horse. But a cool little catch, a little red horse from the Red River. Don't think we need to keep this guy out of the water longer than needed. Just gonna drop him head first, and off he goes. Lovely little red horse. Still see the red of his tail. It's not that deep, but there is a bit of a drop off, about a meter or two out. Back to getting lovely little channel catfish. Get him back. Off he goes. But bigger channel catfish than the ones we've been catching thus far, but nothing major, just a decent catfish. Now this fish has a weird bend in his back there. Probably when he was smaller, something grabbed him. He has a weird malformed tail. But our best catfish for today. Let's quickly have a look at him. You can see the bend in his tail there. Lovely little channel catfish. Get him back to the water. And off he goes. Always seem to swim the wrong way first. But there he goes. And of course, when it comes to fishing the Red River, you always have to get a little stone cat. And another little red horse. This one is slightly bigger than the first one. Lovely red on him. Get him back down there. And off he goes. Now, the strange thing about the red horse, they set off the hook and then they kind of sit in one particular spot. Earlier the year, they kind of swam to the side. Right now they're staying in one spot. So it's a weird take whenever you get a hit and then there's nothing. Always check your baits, because maybe you might have a red horse on. Alright, ladies and gents, it will be quite easy for me to tell you that I had a bit of a bad day walking on the muddy embankments. My foot does hurt quite a lot, as well as being annoyed that my microphone isn't working. That's why I'm talking directly into my phone, just to try and have some better sound for the video. And add to that the fact that the biggest fish we hooked out there, we instantly lost that fish. Now that can paint quite a bad picture, but to be honest, I actually had a blast out there. Now we did end up catching quite a lot of fish out there, and for some reason, seeing a little red horse, having a little red horse on the line, that just puts a smile on my face. I don't really know why. So all in all, the fishing went pretty well, but it's not just that. It's spending time just having a look at the scenery, having a look at that old bridge, for instance, or maybe just playing some fetch with a random dog that showed up. I'm telling you all this because I'm not doing these videos to have you be proud of the fish I'm catching. No, it is more to showcase these parks and what they have to offer. You don't always have to drive 100 kilometers for some good fishing. You can find some good fishing in your local parks. It does, of course, help to have the Red River run through your parks, but you can still have some good fun out there. And of course, if you agree with me, please do give me a little thumbs up on the video. Feel free to ask any questions down below in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider hitting subscribe, joining my community. Alright guys, but thanks for tagging along on this one. And like always, I'll see you next time.